Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a 2021 model year limited edition of 50 pieces in white gold. This is the Lange Söhne Langematik Perpetual 20th anniversary, celebrating 20 years since the 2001 debut of the original Langematik Perpetual. And this watch is packed with special features. So, the basic case size has not changed. In gray gold, which is not rhodium plated and never needs to be plated, it is 38.5 millimeters in diameter, 10.4 millimeters thick, from lug tip to lug tip, 47.2 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you could see what was considered to be a full-size men's watch back in 2001. Now seems like a great unisex option. It's very short across the wrist, and you can really see that best from this down the barrel shot. Take a look at the cuff shot. Short, sloped, easy to fit underneath the dress sleeve. This is perfect for formal attire. And over the top, you can see I've got plenty of clearance on each side. So I would recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. Perfect for him or for her. Taking a quick look at the strap. Blue to match the dial. Matte finish, large rectangular scale alligator leather. We have a folded edge, a monotone stitch, a little bit of bolstering, give it some thickness and volume. You can see on the underside and on the top, no crimping, no gouging, calfskin on the bottom, buttery smooth, a Lange factory strap. And then we have a full clasp. This is not a universal feature on Lange watches. Getting a full clasp often means that someone opted for an upgrade at the dealer, or because it was a special edition, Lange upgraded the model from the factory. But this is not something you will find on most Lange watches. And of course, as with all deployant clasps, it's insurance against accidentally dropping your watch. Now, rolling back to the case, I talked about gray gold. Gray gold is made to require no rhodium plating to achieve whiteness. And if it gets scratched, it's the same color all the way through, so it's not like you suddenly have a different color on the scratch. It's important to remember that companies like Patek Philippe, Grubel Forsey, Jaeger-LeCoultre, Rolex use gray gold, and this is gray gold. Gray gold is an 18-karat white alloy. It is, in so many words, the good stuff if you're talking white gold. Case band is satinated. You can see, as is typical with Lange lugs, they're broken out separate from the case. The mid case is satinated. The case back as well as the bezel are polished for contrast. The lugs are polished. The crown, which is Lange branded, is also polished. And you can see that the case back is set back somewhat, so even though the watch measures 10.4 millimeters thick, it actually looks thinner than that on the wrist. We have one large push adjuster. See how the other ones are kind of small? Well, the one large one has a special function. Let's say you fall 4 days behind and the watch stops for 4 days. Well, you pick it up, you wind it up, you set the time, and then you push this big adjuster 4 times. Everything, the date, the day, the month, the moon phase, everything will move in sync. So 4 pushes adjusts everything in coordinated fashion 4 days ahead. So you just push it the number of days that the watch was stationary. No need to reset all these things or look up what the current moon phase is online. Now, the dial features a stepped hour track, which you can see features a engine turned cut. There's that little coined profile. The hands, the frame for the date, all of the indices, they're white gold. At Lange, moon phase discs are made of solid gold. So this is a solid 22-karat white gold disc for the moon phase, and it has an adjustment interval of once every 122 years. See the seconds hand? This is the Saxomat caliber. It's right there on the dial. It tells you. When you hack the Saxomat, it stops the movement, yes, but it also zero resets the seconds hand so that you can more easily set it to a reference time. Now, while this is a dress watch, I've always been somewhat surprised that the Langematik Perpetual is fairly well loomed, and that right down to the sub-registers as well. The dial is blue galvanized, but it's made of sterling silver. So this is an engine-turned sterling silver dial, so precious metal inside precious metal, and of course indices, numerals, hands, and frame for the date. Those are all white gold. It is a perpetual calendar, so you don't need to make any adjustments till the year 2100. It can deal with leap years, it can deal with February, it can deal with all the irregular length months that are 30 days. And you see we have sub-registers, coaxial seconds and moon phase. We've got a leap year phase indicator with the month indicator. We've got a 24-hour indicator. The idea there is during those silver hours, you see how they're indicated? You don't want to use the push registers on the calendar system. That's the danger zone. And then that's coaxial with the indication of the day of the week. Flip it all over. This watch is water resistant to 30 meters, so rain and splash only. We have the Saxomat caliber, and this is caliber 922-1. Automatic winding via a 3/4 rotor, 46-hour power reserve, 6 beats per second, pivots on 43 joules. It is adjusted in a chronometer and high horology style 5 positions. And there's a lot of fun details here. If you take a look at the rotor itself. Aside from the different finishes applied, the rotor is 21 karat gold, and then the mass is platinum. And then they're fixed together by blued screws. You spoil me, Lange. We have both black polished and fire blued screws. You can see we have engine turning in 2 different sizes on the base plate, and actually it's 3 different sizes if you include the engine turning under the balance. We have a black polished steel cap on the escape wheel cock, and we have a black polished swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism. You can also see that there is a super sharp interior angle on that steel polished cap where the 2 bevels meet. That's hard to do on brass or German silver. It's super hard to do on steel, and I'm happy to see that there because it shows Lange didn't cut corners. A lot of brands would just have a broadly curved bevel, indicating that it was finished by machine. Here you can see that was done by hand. The bevels are few because it uses a 3/4 style bridge, but you can see they are broad, mirrored, and rounded and handsomely hand finished. You can also see that there's solarization on the bridge just below the rotor on the winding bridge and black polish on the bearing cap at center. There's also stripes across the bridges. You can see glasuta stripes. We're not in Switzerland. We're not going to call them Côte de Genève. And then freehand engraving on the balance cock itself. And no 2 of these are exactly alike because the work is done using a burin and a hammer. And the people who do this only do this all day long. They're very specialized artisans. Finally, you can see that the bridges have a golden hue to them. The bridges and plates here are German silver, which is actually not silver. It's a nickel copper zinc alloy that harks back to German pocket watch making. Lange watches made in East Germany in the state of Saxony in the town of Glasuta. And traditionally, before the collectivization of horology under the communists in the 1950s, there was a lot of pocket watch manufacture using this traditional material, which never needs to be coated. It will get darker with age due to the content that's copper, but it will never oxidize or tarnish. Finally, you can see there's an awesome black polished ratchet wheel atop a solarized barrel, so it's just groaning with refinements and hand finished. 50 pieces, individually numbered, very, very, very special. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.